There's a fine line between caring for her deeply and losing yourself in the process. And most men cross it without even realizing it. You start with genuine interest, enjoying the connection, wanting to see her, wanting to hear from her, wanting to keep the energy alive. But slowly, you begin to rely on her responses for your emotional stability. You check your phone constantly, waiting for her texts. You replay conversations in your head, overanalyzing her tone, her emojis, her delays. In replying, you start bending your schedule to match hers, prioritizing her over your plans, letting your mind spin stories if she seems distant for a day. You think you're just showing her you care, but in reality, you're becoming emotionally dependent on her attention to feel okay within yourself. She feels it even if you never say it out loud. Women are emotionally intuitive. They can sense when a man's attention is coming from genuine desire versus quiet desperation. It's in the energy you carry, the way you wait for her to validate your worth, the way you need her responses to reassure you. This is the moment attraction begins to die, because the man she was drawn to at first was steady, independent, grounded in his own worth. He wasn't chasing her approval to feel confident, and that made him magnetic. That made him safe in a way that felt masculine, in a way that allowed her to relax into her feminine. But when you cross that line into needing her, you unknowingly put the burden of your emotional state onto her shoulders. She's not supposed to be your emotional lifeline. She's supposed to add to your life, not become your life. This dependency turns into pressure, and pressure suffocates attraction. The truth is, the moment you need her to feel okay is the moment you start losing her. Asterisk's emotional detachment begins with reclaiming your peace. And it starts by stopping the constant need for reassurance from her. You don't need her to text you every morning just so you can feel confident about yourself. You don't need to constantly analyze her stories, her likes, her replies to confirm you're still in good standing with her. You don't need to. Read between the lines of every good night to check if her tone shifted, wondering if she's pulling away. This constant search for signs and signals becomes a cycle that drains your mental energy and places your emotional stability in her hands. The truth is, when you're constantly seeking reassurance, you're not in control. You're handing over your peace to her reactions, her moods, and her availability. When you choose emotional detachment, you choose to let her show up how she wants while you observe calmly without rushing to fix, to chase, or to prove yourself. You stop trying to control the dynamic through over-communication, over-checking, or over-giving. You simply allow things to unfold, trusting that if she wants to be there, she will be, and if she doesn't, you will be fine without her. You stop moving from fear and begin moving with self-respect. You don't act from a place of anxiety or scarcity, trying to secure her affection with constant validation-seeking behavior. Instead, you reclaim your value with or without her attention, reminding yourself daily that you are enough whether she texts back instantly or takes her time. You start to ground yourself in activities that center you, conversations that fulfill you, work that drives you, and moments of solitude that strengthen you. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about her. It means you stop needing her reactions to determine your worth. You remain open to love while keeping your peace non-negotiable, choosing to be rooted within yourself before trying to hold space for her. Asterisk, the strongest form of emotional detachment is building a life so full and grounded in purpose that you are no longer waiting on her attention to feel alive. When you place your mission first, whether it's your career, your craft, your fitness, or your personal evolution, you create a life that cannot be shaken by someone's temporary distance or silence. Women are drawn to men who are deeply rooted in purpose because it creates an unspoken stability, a sense of movement and energy that is attractive without trying to be. It's the difference between a man who is available at every hour of the day because he's waiting for her call, and a man who answers when he can. After a productive day spent building something meaningful, purpose becomes your anchor. So when you have those days where she's distant, slow to reply, or unclear about what she wants, you aren't shaken because you've got things to do. You're focused on what you're building, the goals you're striving for, and the person you're becoming. You don't spiral into anxiety because your day is already filled with challenges, growth, and creation that are pushing you to evolve. Your mind is occupied with what actually moves your life forward, not stuck replaying old conversations or checking her last online status. This isn't about ignoring her or pretending you don't care. It's about living in alignment with your highest priorities and refusing to let your desire for her presence overshadow the commitment you have to your own life. Purpose makes you less reactive because you know that while you want her, you don't need her to feel fulfilled.
Ow.
That energy is magnetic. Draws her in because she can sense your self-possession, your independence, and your quiet confidence. Purpose over validation. It's how you detach with power while keeping your heart open without losing your center. Asterisk. Emotional detachment also means learning how to master your emotional expression. Understanding when to share and when to hold back. Allowing your silence to speak just as powerfully as your words. A lot of men confuse vulnerability with emotional dumping, oversharing every fear, every insecurity, every moment of doubt in an attempt to feel closer to her. They think that constant venting and explaining will create connection, but often it pushes her away, creating an imbalance where she feels she needs to manage your emotions instead of being able to relax and enjoy your presence. There is nothing wrong with sharing your feelings, but emotional detachment is about discernment. It is about choosing what you share and maintaining a sense of mystery and self-respect in your presence. When you keep some of your depth for yourself, it naturally makes her curious about you. She finds herself wondering what you're thinking, why you are so composed, why you don't need to constantly express every single emotion to feel connected to her. This mystery is powerful because it demonstrates your emotional self-control. That self-control is felt as quiet confidence. Beyond emotional control, detachment means you observe her actions more than her words. It's easy to get caught up in promises, sweet talk, and the future she says she wants with you. But words are easy. Patterns are what matter. A man who is detached pays attention to how she shows up, how consistent she is, and how she behaves. When things aren't perfect, you learn to watch who she is, not just who she says she is. This keeps you grounded and prevents you from being misled by temporary emotions or stories you tell yourself about her. This mindset creates strength, and she feels that strength when she's around you. Asterisk. Keeping a life outside of her is one of the most important aspects of emotional detachment because it forces you to remain rooted in your own identity and self-worth. Regardless of how she shows up, too many men lose themselves in a relationship, slowly letting go of their friendships, their fitness routines, their hobbies, and even their quiet time alone, just to be available for her. They think being constantly accessible will make her feel loved, but it only creates a subtle pressure and drains the polarity that keeps attraction alive. When your world revolves around her, she feels it, and instead of feeling chosen, she feels smothered. A man who keeps his life full and vibrant becomes harder to rattle. He is not checking his phone every 5 minutes because he is too busy living. Working out, building, reading, laughing with friends, exploring, and expanding. He has momentum in his life, and that momentum makes him magnetic, shows her that. While he desires her, he does not need her to feel complete. That energy is calming and attractive, providing her with the freedom to lean in without the unspoken demand that she fills every emotional gap for him. Emotional detachment also means never negotiating your self-worth for her attention. If she pulls away, you let her go gracefully. You do not beg, chase, or try to convince her of your value, because the moment you start proving yourself, you are operating from a place of fear rather than confidence. You prefer her presence, but you do not require it. And this quiet strength becomes felt by her on a deep level. When you detach, you create space for her to miss you. You shift the dynamic from needing her to appreciating her, from chasing to leading, from proving your worth to embodying it. And in doing so, you become the man she respects, the man she leans into. Because she feels your strength, your independence, and your centered masculine calm.